Good afternoon, and welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program.
This program is sponsored in its entirety by the Southwest TV Translators Association. Special thanks goes to the manager, Wayne Johnson, for his guidance and assistance. It is also supported by the Dolores County Broadcasting Network, as seen on DCTV Channel 32.1.
The News at Noon is in its pilot experimental stage. We hope to bring a variety of news and commentary for the Four Corners region. And if you have a news story, call us up.
With all that said, I'm Kendra Cook, and my co-hosts are Kelsey Kiesling and Jerry Tope. And now for December 14th, 2015, here's the news. Reported in the Journal, a Toyac man was found dead last week by city recycling crews north of Walmart here in Cortez, Colorado. Brainard Cuther, 49, was found lying in the grass about 75 feet off of South Sligo Street just after 8 a.m. on December 7th. Medics were unable to find a pulse, police said. According to police, Cuther's cell phone revealed that his last call was made at 9:59 p.m. the previous night. The local temperature dipped to 11 degrees on that overnight. It's an extremely sad situation whenever someone dies outside, said Lori Knutson, director of the Bridge Emergency Shelter in Cortez. According to Knutson, the shelter had 29 overnight guests on Sunday, and the shelter capacity is 45. Cuther's death is believed to be the first from apparent exposure that has occurred within the city since October of 2013. Knutson praised the police department that more deaths hadn't been reported. The police officers look every night and they sweep the area that our homeless population tends to congregate, said Knutson, who added that officers drop people off at the shelter on multiple nights every week. A police report reveals that several items were collected at the scene, including a half-empty bottle of mouthwash and a jacket, which was some 100 feet away from where Cuther's body was discovered. Police said no suspicious items were located at the scene, but be careful out there. Exposure to the cold can be a serious threat this time of year.
On December 11th, 2015, the Dolores County Sheriff's Office has stated that what was a search and rescue operation has moved into a recovery mission after searchers and rescue personnel located a snowmobile in Groundhog Reservoir late Thursday. The recovery has been suspended for the time being due to dangerous weather and concerns for the health of searchers and rescuers. On December 8, 2015, a multi-agency search led by the Dolores County Sheriff's Office was initiated for Ronald Wallace, Jr., a 37-year-old Groundhog area resident and Air Force veteran. Mr. Wallace was last heard from on Sunday afternoon via telephone when he called a friend during a short break from a snowmobile ride he was enjoying in the Groundhog area. A family member reported Mr. Wallace missing on Tuesday morning. Search and rescue teams and friends mobilized to the Groundhog area on snowmobiles, and helicopter support was called to fly over as soon as ground teams were in the area. Helicopters were launched on Tuesday and Wednesday to visually search the terrain for any information to pass through to the ground crews. Ground crews on foot and on snowmobile tracked and investigated snowmobile and human tracks. A dive team was called in Wednesday and Thursday to search in areas of the Groundhog Reservoir with thin to no ice and evidence of snow machine tracks. The search and rescue teams that were involved include Dolores County Search and Rescue, Rico Search and Rescue, Lewis Areola Dive Team, and the United Search and Rescue of Montezuma County and Montezuma County Sheriff's Office Advisory.
As published in the Journal, the San Juan National Forest has released a draft environmental impact statement on future livestock grazing for the Glade area northwest of Dolores. The study analyzed current range conditions and proposes to reauthorize grazing permits with modifications at 8 cattle allotments, including Brumley, Calf, Glade, Lone Mesa, Long Park, Mare, and Salter. The Sage Hen allotment would be retained for cattle trailing only. Combined grazing allotments in the Glade cover 120,000 suitable acres. 9 ranchers are currently permitted to run just under 3,000 cattle, but they don't always run their full allocation. The allotments on the Glade landscape have been managed for domestic livestock grazing for decades. According to the draft EIS, range monitoring transects show much improvement in the range historically, but some recent poor conditions are in need of restoration, according to the report. Livestock grazing is expected to be reauthorized but with modifications to improve rangeland. Changes would not occur in the first grazing season following the planned decision to allow for monitoring. Although a problem with distribution of cattle is known today, the extent of the problem is not known, the report states. This is why use mapping must occur to identify the needing change. About 20 springs in the glade area need reconstruction or restoration since livestock use has altered water flow patterns and water quality, according to the report. The Forest Service proposes to work on at least 2 springs per year after the final decision. Actions include changing pipe, spring box, fencing, and adjusting spring flows so that livestock can use the water in a manner that maintains spring function. The deadline for public comment on the draft environmental impact statement for grazing on the glade is February 2nd. The draft EIS is available at Dolores District Office off of Colorado Highway 184 between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday.
As reported in the Durango Herald, the Colorado Economic Development Commission has approved hundreds of millions of dollars in incentive programs, including $86 million to help build 4 tourist attractions in northern Colorado that include an indoor whitewater park, a horror film center, a lake resort, and a water park themed hotel. Denver got $121 million for the National Western Center, but said it's not enough and it needs to find more funds for the project. The project is part of a 10-year plan to turn an aging Denver area into a global agricultural destination. The 4 projects in northern Colorado, put together by an organization called Go No-Co, hit a snag when the coalition objected to some restrictions, but the organization said it believes the issues can be worked out and the projects can go forward. We accept those guardrails with the understanding that we can adjust some of those details that we frankly don't think work, said Jep Semin, a Denver-based attorney representing Go No-Co. Most of the Go No-Co funding is expected to come from private and nonprofit debt, equity, and donations, along with state and local subsidies, the Coloradoan of Fort Collins reported. State Economic Development Director Fiona Arnold and her staff said they wanted to make sure there was no duplication. That kind of specificity is untenable, said Go No-Co Chairman Patrick Brady. For instance, the proposed Palo Grande Resort in Windsor would have to meet minimum footage requirements on items such as the ballroom, the Denver Post reported. John Cullen, owner of the Stanley Hotel, which is developing a horror film center, objected to a requirement the center have enough room to store one of the nation's largest film collections. He said there's no way the center could ever compete with other major digital storage providers. The commission also approved $300,000 in state strategic funds to German airline Lufthansa for marketing costs to relaunch of a nonstop flight from Denver to Munich.
As reported in the Daily Mail today, a catching headline states that, quote, "We must get to Mars before World War III kicks off. Elon Musk warns religious extremism and nuclear attacks will prevent us landing on the red planet." Elon Musk said he will announce new plans for a mission to Mars next year. He fears there is a limited window when technology for a mission will exist and that a third world war or religious extremism could turn people anti-technology. Well, here's some recent news that may coordinate with what Mr. Musk is alarming the world about, and it has to do with mining. Southwest Colorado has seen its share of boom and bust in the mining business, which continues today as a major factor in the rural economy. And now, in a first, U.S. President Barack Obama signed legislation at the end of November that allows commercial extraction of minerals and other materials, including water, from, wait for it, asteroids and the moon. That's right. As reported in phys.org or phys.org, they believe it could kick off an extraterrestrial gold rush backed by a private astronautics industry that is growing quickly and cutting the price of commercial spaceflight. The U.S. Commercial Space Launch Competitiveness Act of 2015 says that any materials American individuals or companies find on an asteroid or the moon is theirs to keep and do with as they please. While the Space Act breaks with the concept that space should be shared by everyone on Earth for scientific research and exploration, it establishes the rights of investors to profit from their efforts, at least under U.S. law. The U.S. move conjured visions of the great opening of the United States western frontier in the 19th century, which led to the California Gold Rush of 1849. But for the moment, the cost of pioneering the economic exploitation of space remains exorbitant and the risks high. Large companies are still studying their options, but smaller startups are impatient to get going, like Planetary Resources, launched in 2012 by Google co-founder Larry Page. According to NASA research, of some 1,500 asteroids within easy reach from Earth, possibly 10% have valuable mineral resources. Companies see great possibilities in space, deposits of nickel, iron ore, gold, and platinum that could support the space industry in the same way that the huge deposits of iron ore in the U.S. upper Midwest laid the foundations for the Detroit auto industry. But their first target is water frozen in substantial deposits on relatively close asteroids. The water's value, more than just to drink, is in providing hydrogen fuel for space vehicles. It could supply a refueling station for the rockets, for instance, destined to explore Mars, and it could be used to refuel satellites in orbit. One interested company CEO says an in-space fueling station could save hundreds of millions of dollars in water transport costs. If we can store that water there, we can refuel rockets, satellites. It will be a huge opportunity. You can refuel your rocket in orbit, and that makes it easier to get it there and cheaper. The first space prospecting missions could be launched from 2017, the companies say, and extracting minerals could begin as early as 2020. The Anunnaki pilot Enki would be proud.
Last week, municipal officials got their first glimpse of preliminary design plans for the new City Hall. In October, the Cortez City Council approved a $3 million purchase price for the Journal Building on North Roger Smith Avenue. Plans include remodeling and transforming the 25,000 square foot structure into a new City Hall. A $2 million Department of Local Affairs grant will help fund the renovation costs, which currently totals $2.3 million, Hale said. City Manager Shane Hale told municipal officials last week that the new City Hall would afford the public a central location for all municipal business. Unveiled last week, preliminary designs call for the new City Hall to house finance, planning, and building, information technology, code enforcement, human resources, and municipal court departments. The building will also include multiple meetings and conference rooms, as well as an 80-seat council chambers space. Pagosa Springs architect Brad Ash said his firm conducted a feasibility study to address the needs of each municipal department, explaining that the preliminary design plan was a living document. Hoping to utilize the existing structure, Ash said little demolition work was expected and designers hoped to achieve silver LEED certification after retrofitting the existing mechanical system and installing solar tubes and skylights. Brad Ash states that they hope to reduce the current structure's energy cost by half. A $2 million Department of Local Affairs grant will help fund the renovation costs, which currently totals $2.3 million. The final contract price on the structure, constructed in 2001, was $2,995,000, which included a near $65,000 discount offered by Ballantine Development to go toward the building's HVAC and mechanical systems.
Winter weather advisory remains in effect from noon today till midnight Mountain Standard Time tonight. A winter weather advisory means that periods of snow and or blowing snow will cause travel difficulties. Be prepared for slippery roads and limited visibilities and use caution while driving. Travelers can expect icy and snow-packed roads. Gusty winds will create areas of blowing and drifting snow. Scattered snow showers will spread eastward across the Four Corners area this morning, becoming widespread and heavy at times around noon and early this afternoon. Snow will continue through this afternoon and into Tuesday afternoon. This includes the cities of Cortez, Dove Creek, Mancos, Durango, Bayfield, Ignacio, Pagosa Springs, and the vicinity. Snow accumulations are expected to be from 3 to 6 inches, with locally higher amounts in the foothill areas of the San Juan Mountains. Tomorrow, an additional 1 or 2 inches are possible. Winds are southwest 5 to 15 miles an hour, with gusts up to 30 miles per hour, shifting west and decreasing this evening. Our expected high temperatures today throughout Thursday are the upper 20s to just under freezing, with Friday in the middle 30s. The low tonight in the mid-teens, with Tuesday through Thursday in the single digits, and cold as the storm exits. Clear skies are expected Wednesday through Friday, and warming temperatures through Sunday, with the weekend to be mid-40ish and 20s those nights. For the week of December 6th to the 12th, last week's average CO2 was 401.31 parts per million. 2 weeks ago, 400.80 parts per million. 1 year ago, 398.93 parts per million. 10 years ago, 2005 numbers were 379.67 parts per million. Snow has begun at many locations, and this moisture is being pumped up from the southwest. Webcams show light snow accumulations across the I-70 corridor from Green River to Mac. The I-70 corridor from Cameo up through Vail will be impacted throughout the day. Vernal hasn't been showing large amounts of snow up there, but with this system, the Uinta Basin is quite cold, and moisture is being pumped up out of the center of the low pressure system into the ideal position to allow 2 to 5 inches to accumulate in the valley. A deepening storm system has dropped in from the Great Basin into the Great Basin and will close off today. This closed low is in the Four Corners region and will move slowly east over the high plains by late tomorrow. Precipitation will spread across the remainder of the forecast area during the afternoon hours. The best focus continues to be forecast across southeastern Utah and southwest Colorado today. Good instability will result in periods of heavy snow over the region. Warmer temperatures at the lower elevations should limit accumulations below the advisory criteria. However, snowfall for northern valleys with advisory amounts of 3 to 6 inches is anticipated, and 6 to 8 inches in Zone 5, the Steamboat Springs area. For tonight, colder air will move across the region as winds shift to the northwest, and the focus of the precipitation shifts north. Expect low-density snow at all locations, with enhanced precipitation on northwest-facing slopes. Snow will diminish tomorrow, but periods of snow will continue over higher terrain with additional accumulations. A short wave dropping down from the northwest should keep snow going for the northern mountains through Friday. It's possible that snow won't actually stop up there, so this could be a very prolonged snowfall event. The snow won't necessarily be heavy, but several days of light to occasional snow will start adding up. So through Friday then, plenty of clouds and snow are anticipated for the northern mountains and possibly as far south as Grand Mesa in the central mountains. The best chances for the central mountains are likely Thursday night through Friday morning. Folks, be very careful on the roads throughout this storm, and it is out there. Please have your holiday season safe and happy.
And now in sports. As reported in the Journal, the Dove Creek Bulldogs entered the fourth quarter with a 21-point lead over the Dolores Bears on Tuesday, but things got tense in a hurry. This lead was trimmed down to a 6-point lead with a final score of 60-54, with the victory going to the Dove Creek Bulldogs. Gray said the Bulldogs came into the game hoping to dominate the boards and get the ball inside, and with 25 offensive rebounds, they had ample second chance opportunities to score. Bo Hemphill led the Bulldogs with 13 rebounds and scored 10 points. Ernst finished with 15 points and 10 rebounds, and Dante Gallegos added 9 points and 11 boards. Freshman Ryan Delano led the team in scoring with 16. McCoy led Dolores in scoring, netting 10 of his 20 points in the final quarter. Jalen Balderrama added 12 for the Bears. Beery scored 10, and Tristan Medina finished with 9.
Area wrestlers from 13 schools congregated at Dove Creek High School on Saturday for the Dogfight Invitational, as covered by the Journal. Dove Creek, Mancos, and Dolores finished consecutively in team scores, with the Bulldogs placing 8th, Blue Jays 9th, and Bears 10th. Dove Creek was led by senior Case Bauman, who won the 132-pound weight class and went 5-0 on the day, improving his season record to 10-0. Bauman's closest match was a 13-0 major decision win, and he won the championship match by tech fall 17-2. Ricky Adams went 3-1 in the 170-pound class, with his only loss coming in the championship match, finishing second. Rhett Quackenbush finished fourth for the Bulldogs in the 120-pound class, going 4-1 on the day, with his only loss coming to Mancos's Richard Martinez. Martinez was the highest placer for the Blue Jays, pinning his first 4 competitors, then falling 12-1 in the championship match to finish second. Mancos freshmen Chance Garcia and Casey Orange placed fourth in their respective classes, and Austin Howerton took fifth. Brandon Ward led the Dolores Bears. With his second-place finish, Ward won his first 4 matches before falling to Ignacio's Stalker Robbins 13-3 in the championship match. Austin Hackney also went 4-1 on the day, finishing 4th place in his class, and Aiden Hapsia took 5th place with a 3-2 final in his class. Sean Higgins, Garrett Boren, and Reid Littlefield were the sole Montezuma-Cortez representatives. Higgins finished 4th place in the 106-pound class. All 4 schools are back in action this week. Dolores takes on Ignacio in an away duel on Thursday, and then will join Mancos and Dove Creek at the Panther Classic at Piedra Vista High School in New Mexico on Saturday. MCHS will be in Grand Junction for the Warrior Classic on Friday and Saturday.
And now for what's happening for the holidays. Santas of all shapes and sizes crowd Carver Brewing Company's first inaugural SantaCon festival on Sunday in Durango to benefit the Durango Food Bank, as reported in the Herald. Found in most major cities, SantaCon is exactly what it sounds like, a convention of men and women dressed as Santa. The first such event was held in 1994 in San Francisco and has since grown to a worldwide happening during the holiday season. Local event organizer Blaine Bailey said, after living here 2.5 years with things like Snowdown and the Zombie March, I thought it'd be a perfect town for something like this. After the crowd went on a sort of Saint Nick-like journey, but instead of traversing the world to bring gifts to children, the Santa Army patronized several local bars. We have a very strict no Santa left behind policy, Bailey informed the crowd. Event organizers had the Santas sign a waiver upon entering Carver's, releasing the restaurant from any liability should the inebriated St. Nick's partake in any nefarious activity at any point in the night. But rest assured, Bailey said organizers intended to hold a pace race midway through the crawl, where participants would be urged to chug water just to keep in check for the long night of imbibing. Kendra.
Well, there's nothing like that around here this year, but there will be an ugly sweater party at the State Line Bar and Grill on Highway 491 at the border of Colorado and Utah. Prizes for best or worst ugly sweater, drinks and food specials, RV hookups are available, and there's an available free shuttle both to Dove Creek and Monticello. There'll be a DJ and karaoke. It's their 2nd annual event, and it's coming up on this Saturday, December 19th. Also this Saturday, the annual community Christmas sing-along at Bryce's Old Pinion in Dove Creek starts at 7 p.m. Instruments and voices are welcome. There will be hot cider, and you're encouraged to bring cookies to share. Before the music starts, there'll be an art opening for Cody Lyons starting at 1 p.m. We hope to get her in studio to explain what she's doing with an art center opening. She has just recently renovated a part of the Old Pinion building for an art studio. Maybe Wednesday we'll hear more on that.
That's it for today's show. Again, thanks for tuning in. This program is aired live at noon and rebroadcasted at 2:30 and 8 p.m. on channel 32.1. You can also re-watch the broadcasts on YouTube at the DCTV News at Noon channel. For Kendra Cook, Jerry Tope, and all those working to bring you DCTV and the News at Noon program from Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. See you next time.